Appreciate it. Thank you all. This is awesome.
Thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
So there's a thing that like Gen Z does now. It's called, they go yeet. Has anyone heard of yeeting before? Yeah? So basically I'm gonna like say a point and then everyone, I want you to go yeet. So we're just gonna like rattle off Chef's
this is great.
background here. So, so we're sitting next to the guy who, Top Chef contestant, Chopped champion,
We need more participation.
James Beard Award nominee, founder of Lilac Tiger, Coach House,
Nice.
Mira,
Nice.
and back in the day was one.
Yep.
There it is. The master of
Sarima
masala.
Cafe. You missed one.
What was that?
Sarima Cafe.
Oh yeah, Sarima Cafe.
I just want to make you eat. Yeah.
The master of the masala, Chef Zubair Mohajir.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is awesome.
Really appreciate you being here, lending your time.
For sure.
Any Top Chef fans or Chopped fans in the house? Yeah. I think a lot of us in Chicago were pulling for you in that last
I appreciate it. Yeah, it was a really great time. We had a lot of great representation from Chicago. Bailey, Cesar, myself too. It was just really awesome. It was good times.
Yeah, and that's what I think is cool. I feel like each new season we're seeing more and more Chicago representation. What was that like? Like, did you feel you were representing yourself or carrying your city on your back?
No, I mean, not only, we're carrying Chicago, but culturally, being Indian and growing up in Chicago, food is the way any immigrant families remember home and stay connected to home and stay connected to where you come from, whether it's India or, Southern Europe, Eastern Europe, wherever you're from, food is how you remember home. And our parents always, I think it was more our mothers remembering where they came from, where we got to eat that every single night. And I have no problem with that. That's a great thing.
So you've been on Chopped, and you won it, right?
Yeah.
And that's like a 20 to 30 minute clock.
Mm-hmm.
On Top Chef, you've got a quick fire challenge at the beginning that's like 10 to 20 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
Then there's the main event, and then there's a Last Chance Kitchen opportunity, right?
Yeah, they film you waking up, they film you go shopping and all sorts of stuff.
So there's all that, and then there's also just like Friday night running a restaurant.
Right.
What's been the toughest clock out of all of those that you've had to cook against?
To be honest, nothing on TV is hard when you start a business like you guys are doing right now. So I started Wazwan, which was this very nomadic small supper club in 2017. After I, did I was a finance dude. Alip over there knew me when I was a piece of shit 17-year-old that was going to DePaul University and was just going out every night. Yeah, and he's done I've been his model in a couple of Sasa fashion shows when I was not supposed to be a model ever. But long story short, I went to school for finance. I just hated it. It was more, what can I do that's fast, that's going to make my mother happy, and it doesn't involve a doctorate or being a dentist, 'cause who wants to look at people's mouths all day, and things like that was just like, I don't know. I felt like every time I walked into a classroom or the DMV, if I'm sitting down, my mind just gets up and leaves, so I think they call that ADHD, but in South Asian households, ADHD doesn't exist, so that's just, being lazy, basically. So after all of those things, I worked in the banks for 7 years, and I always joke, it was one of the worst days of many people's lives, but it was the best day of my life, was when the market crashed in 2008. I got laid off my job, and I was happy as fuck, So I was like, hell yeah, I don't have to pretend doing this thing that I've been pretending to like for a long time. So that was a way of telling mom, hey man, can't do it, So because she was such an amazing cook, to make ends meet when we moved here, because, she's South Asian, so the house can't smell like food. So me and my dad had to build her a kitchen to do like catering in our community, And so instead of Saturday morning cartoons, it was, Zubair, wake up, come to the garage. And I'm, cutting onions, I'm frying samosas in 7th, 8th grade. So it's her fault, I always say now, because she never meant for me to follow the profession of being a chef and, getting paid $11 an hour in 2017 or 2013 when you know, married into this family wearing a suit as a finance dude, and you have to explain to your father-in-law that now you're going from $75K a year to $11 an hour. It's a tough conversation for everybody, but as you guys all know here, when people start to see you work and start to see you put in the time, no matter what that initial money that you get out of it is, but you're building for the future. And sometimes you're building something that people tell you is stupid or it's not going to work. And that was my case. You know, I came back and I was like, I think I want to cook. And so I didn't just jump into small business ownership. I told myself I'm going to shut my mouth for 5 years and I'm going to go work for the best chefs that I can work for. So my first stage from a desk as a moron was Alinea. And Alinea will let you work as a stage because they just require you have 2 arms and 2 legs and you can breathe, you know what I mean? So they love training people. And so I did a stage there, which was impossible, but it installed this grind in me that I've never been able to get out. I should be going to therapy now to get it out because I'm 41 and I still have that grind. But basically it's just that no give up grind. It's stacking up against everything grind. And so once that happened, I went and worked for Jean-Georges, who's a big French chef, worked my way up from a prep cook to a sous chef in a couple of years. And then I got an opportunity to work for Thomas Keller in Napa. Did that, convinced, this whole time I've been blessed to marry a woman that just like supports the shit out of me. So she went for the ride and we both have been building our lives together. So we just packed up, you know, the Subaru that we bought and just drove to Napa, worked there for 1.5 years. And have you guys all watched Chef's Table before? So love Chef's Table. So, you know, as you guys probably know, all cooks hate brunch. And so after a brunch shift, I was just, you know, had taken part in some things, and I was watching Chef's Table afterwards, and an episode comes up where it's Gagan from Bangkok, and it's this 25-course tasting menu restaurant in Bangkok. And as an Indian cook working for French chefs for the past 5 years at that point, I never saw our food at a pedestal like that before. So that turned my whole brain on to a different level, you know. So I was like, what is this? And so that inspiration, you know, in his story, he writes a letter to Ferran Adria, who's the godfather of molecular, you know, gastronomy, where you see all the fancy shit these days. So he just wrote him a letter saying, hey, I just want to work here. And in his Chef's Table episode, the response happens where the chef says, yeah, come to Spain, bring your spices. So my crazy ass thought that was really fun and then sent that dude, Chef Gagan, an email. Forgot about it. My wife was pregnant. Big Napa fire happens, evacuates us from Napa, California. We're back in Chicago, and I start this supper club called Wazwan. And Wazwan, in one seating in Kashmir in northern India, is 36 courses. So these were the types of things that I grew up as a history nerd. I'm sorry, this is a long answer. But I grew up a history nerd. And so Wazwan is the godfather of what you see now as tasting menus, things like omakases, all these eating traditions from the East, all throughout the world, eventually made their way through trade to Europe, where they now become French fine dining menus, you know? So it's just really fun to see that correlation. So for me to be able to just, you know, start something, my first small business was that supper club, where I would go into places like this, I would go into warehouses, random spaces, and we would do 22, 25-course dinners, because that's what represented Wazwan, you know?
Interview's over.
My bad. There's so much more, but I'll let you ask the questions, bro. I can talk forever.
That covered like 9 of the questions.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Let's come back to your upbringing. You talked about your parents, talked about, you know, Saturday morning chopping onions. What is whether it's food or otherwise, what's a lesson your parents taught you, whether it was directly telling you or something you absorbed secondhand, that you think still you carry with you today?
I think, like all immigrant parents, it's the not losing the drive to survive, you know, especially starting a new business. It's the hardest thing to do, but it's also something that you're always going to see obstacles. You're always going to have that road or the forks in the road that you come across where you could just stop. You could accept failure. The world we live in now, somebody's probably going to pat you on the back for it. You know what I mean? But I think where our parents kind of grew up, I miss that. I embody it, and I have an 8-year-old son that I'm, you know, gently trying to input that kind of drive. But I love the drive that our parents came to this country with, which is no matter what, we don't fucking give up. You know, you have to figure out what you're gonna do, whether it's the dads You know, I had a friend that the dad created 50 businesses before he hit on one. And I think that type of mentality is important because like without those kinds of people in our lives, we just see, well, if you fail, you failed and you just give up. So I think not giving up is something that I really took in.
Yeah. You know, the failure piece is interesting because you'll often hear people say like, there's no such thing as failure, it's all
Not an
learning.
option. Yeah.
Well, they'll say it's all learning. And my mindset is like, yeah, but if you don't call it a failure, if you don't say that didn't work, you're not going to learn from it. You're just going to keep doing the same thing the wrong way.
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, I would say like the restaurant industry is different, right? So it's like restaurant industry, there's plenty of things you'll come across, or when you want to set up, you know, some deal might go through in a real estate. I think what I've always done, and my wife will always kind of like check in with me to see if I'm okay, because there'll be some crazy shit that goes, pandemic, you know, like we were in a food hall, and the food hall just said, hey, we're not opening tomorrow. I didn't say, all right, cool, see you guys, peace out, you know, and I had 5 people that depended on me. In that moment, that's when you need some of that craziness in your mind to, failure is not an option, closing is not an option. In that moment, I literally pulled every dollar I had and we bought a kitchen and moved into a ghost kitchen because that's what people told us to do. And the most beautiful thing happened that all the people that came to our little pop-up started sending, basically ordering via DoorDash when the shutdown happened. And we sold this Indian fried chicken sandwich that still basically gave birth to one of our bars, which is Lilac Tiger. But we would get these love notes in the DoorDash comments where you would ask for extra sauce, but it would be our customers telling us, thanks for not quitting and thanks for not stopping, and we hope that you guys come out of it. So, you know, things like that, communities like that is really, really hard to find, but food is the way you find to, you know, people's hearts. So you feed something really delicious, man, they're gonna support you, and we felt that.
So let's build off of that.
Mm-hmm.
I think serving food and creating food is really interesting.
Yeah.
Part of the joy is seeing your customer, the eater, like actually, you know, have that experience.
The biggest joy,
right?
yeah.
Whatever their reaction is great.
Yep.
And I think from the eater's perspective, a lot of times, you know, if you enjoy food, you want to know the story behind it. You want to know the chef, all those things. Now, in the startup world, it's almost the opposite, where it's like you're often told in the startup world, like, you don't matter, your end customer experience is all that matters.
Sure, right.
When you're crafting a recipe, does it start with you and what kind of like personality you want, or are you thinking about the customer first and working backwards?
For me, it starts with me. I don't make anything or serve anything that I'm not going to eat. I'm obsessed with history, and like every concept we have is rooted in history, you know? So the Coach House, for instance, is where I am on the weekends because it's an intimate 22-seat dining experience. We're in front of each other. It's a 7-course menu, and we follow the spice road that goes from southern Spain all the way to India. And it's during the time, it's right before the time of the Spanish Inquisition and the First Crusade. So it's this time where North Africa is thriving, Iberian Peninsula is thriving, when everybody's kind of doing great for themselves, and then all hell breaks loose. So we found a cookbook that has 900-year-old recipes from that time. And so we like to incorporate things like that because I'm from India, but you know, my whole life people would be like, you're not from fucking India, you look Puerto Rican, or like, you know, anything else. So very racially ambiguous, which I enjoy, to be honest, which is pretty awesome. But it starts to, you know, you start to think like, where the fuck am I from? And so when my grandfather passed, we found a whole cachet of research that he was doing because you know, our family is 4 generations in South India, but South India has an Assyrian community, a Jewish community, a Christian community. And so he had found out that our lineage went back to Basra, Iraq, you know, and we were merchants at some point that just settled in South India. And that is the story of the whole world. You know, everybody is a settler somewhere and immigrant somewhere. And that's such a beautiful thing.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You have spent a lot of your time getting people out of, I think the term used is like the butter chicken zone.
Yeah.
India and South Asia as a whole is
Yeah.
so complex. So many languages, so many dialects of the languages,
Yep.
so many regions, geographies, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think amidst all of that, at least in America and the West, it's been homogenized to butter chicken, chicken tikka masala, and matar paneer?
Butter chicken is like the gateway drug to Indian food. You know what I'm saying? So like if you don't eat Indian food, that's going to be the first thing that you probably are going to find. And it literally is the gateway drug because it was the first thing that Indians made, for the British when they came through because they couldn't handle spices. So it's like, it is a colonizer dish that became, so don't get me wrong, I know that butter chicken is delicious, it's great. My kid loves butter chicken, it's cool, but it can't represent a country where India's like going to Wisconsin right now, and the language is different, the food is different, the religion is different, and then you went to Indiana, and then it happens again, and then you go to Minnesota, and it's completely different. So in a country that diverse, butter chicken can't represent it all. I wouldn't even say butter chicken is Indian food. Butter chicken is colonizer British food, I love Punjabi food. There's a lot of other Punjabi food that's really, really good. Makki ki roti, sarson ka saag, that's Punjabi food. Butter chicken is something that was made for, the people that, because South Asians, we don't want to be too mean. Even when the people coming to rob us of everything, we're just like, hey, yeah, come eat. You know what I mean? So that's what butter chicken came out of. Not to make it political.
Have you seen Trevor Noah's bit on that about how he's like,
I'm sure, yeah.
Welcome them with open arms.
We're too polite, Be like, yes, come, take $38 trillion, but let's give you some chai on the way out so you're not cold. You know what I mean? So crazy.
Real quick, Jasiara, could we close those doors there? There's a draft coming in. Yeah, thanks. Capture the sound better here too. So, with your restaurants. You mentioned you started as Wazwan, and then you kind of moved one at a time from there. What would you say is harder, opening your first restaurant or simultaneously running 3 restaurants?
I think opening your first, for sure, because that's where you're proving that you can do it. And there's so many days that we've failed, and in the sense didn't fail the business, but mistakes that you do. Payroll sucks, and paying taxes really sucks. Nobody tells you when you start a business like, hey, why did $10,000 just leave the account? It's like, oh, welcome, that's called sales tax. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, as a pop-up, you don't know any of that stuff. So learning happens a lot in the beginning. Paying rent sucks. Paying for light sucks. And then you realize I just spent the past 3 years just paying people, and that's what owning a small business is, right? But what comes on the outside of that is once you get through that setup process and you've worked on your product and you have dedicated customers, then you start to see that flip happen where people come to you for experiences, and you build family, you build a whole network. And that's what I'm so blessed to do, because now we're about to open 2 more restaurants by this summer. But it's like fun, man, because now we have people who have surrounded ourselves with that are also having that same work ethic, that same drive, and that same hunger to do things. So I'm very, very blessed. In the early days of Wazwan, I was by myself during Delta, when Delta virus kicked in, right? And the whole restaurant went down, and I had to refund $30,000 in the last 2 weeks of December, because it's the busiest time of the year, because everybody got COVID. And it was all because of one of our servers came in and said, Chef, I'm either hungover or I have COVID. And I was like, why did you come to work today? And she had COVID, so everybody went down. But the beautiful thing about that, and that's why I always say you never quit, is that when I had COVID and I was sitting in quarantine, I told my wife, bring every book I have on the bookshelf that has to do with food to my door so I can do something. And that 5 days is the days I found this dish called duck Numidian in the recipe book that is from 900 years ago, pre-Crusade, southern Spain. And that dish is the one that sold out 3 months in advance in 2022, And it doesn't happen if I don't go down. And that dish is if you guys like to watch food documentaries, YouTube and Eater did a documentary on the preparation of this dish on YouTube. You can find it on Mise en Place. But that has become what we do, And so sometimes, yes, you're going to have to go down for 5 days, but then you find something that's going to take your business to a different level. That's why you don't quit.
On the sales tax thing,
sucks.
So my first year running my business, I don't know if business owners, you'll know this, everyone else, I don't know if you're aware of this, but as a business owner, you're required to pay estimated quarterly taxes every quarter. You got to pay the IRS what you estimate was your tax of the last quarter. I didn't know this. Jeez. And then tax season comes up the next April. Yeah. And I had this huge lump, and the accountant's like, you owe all this from the last year. And I was like, what? Yeah. And then I was like, I can't pay all that at one time. No. And then I was on an 18-month payment plan with interest to the IRS. And it was like, every month this money's coming out, and
Yeah.
and it was a sigh of relief when it
sucks.
finally paid off after
For
18
sure.
months.
You get really good at, oh, I'm sorry, this is my first time.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening. I have that bit down packed.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I make sure I'm not going to jail or some shit. You know, but
Well, the other wild thing is it's estimated
true.
quarterly tax, but there's no proper formula to get it right. So you're always off by a little bit, and then when you're off, they penalize you for not paying the proper amount. But there's
called
no way they
extortion,
will
bro.
tell you what the actual amount is.
yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, IRS.
Suck.
With these different restaurants you have opened up, and you can pick either, you can do individually or you can just summarize across them. What do you hope someone kind of like, what emotion do you hope someone walks away with, or what reaction, or what do you think when someone's eating your food?
Oh man, the best thing coming out of the pandemic was the first night of service in the Coach House, where we did the 7-course menu, and I caught myself literally staring at like a freaking creep. I would watch people eat every single thing, you know. And as a chef, when you make something, it's the most like satisfying thing that we'll do. But it's kind, you know, it's not probably not recommended in a restaurant where they can watch you watch them, you know. So I didn't give a fuck though, because it was like whatever, man. You bought the tickets to come eat my food because obviously you like it. So I just enjoyed the fact that I could watch people eat our food again, and it is the best thing in the world, because now Mira was funded by diners who ate my food for 10 years at every single dinner, at every single pop-up. They came to Lilac, they came to Wazwan, and when it came time to do Mira in Bucktown, the two principal investors that came in were people who had eaten my food, not family members, not friends, because you don't fucking do, you know, business with family, or friends. They'll be the most annoying people in the world, you know, but I'm just joking. I love my friends. But no, you know, I mean, for real, like that, whatever your business is, your supporters are going to be your biggest, you know, investors sometimes.
Yeah.
And we're opening these 2 new restaurants in May, and it's the same thing. It's people who have eaten our food. So you establish connection with people initially through what your product is, but your work ethic and what you've put into that product resonates with people when they leave. And then you have them for life, whether it's as a dedicated customer or they might support your business in the future. You don't know. But for me, the rule of thumb, and in the restaurant business, we say everybody is PPX, meaning everybody's a VIP. So whether we know each other or not, or if I'm meeting them for the first time, I'm interacting with them like they're the best thing that ever happened to me, because they are. Because that night they allowed me to feed them, and I was able to pay rent and pay my people and take care of my business and take care of lives, and you can't take that for granted ever, you know, every dollar.
So on that note, across your different restaurant concepts, what would you say, you know, despite the fact that you're serving, you know, fine dining versus street food versus fusion food, what would you say is what's consistent, you know, regardless of where they're going to, you know, functionally sit down? What's consistent across these restaurants from an experience lens?
God bless, we're doing really great in all of them. And we've gone through our ups and downs, but you know, that's why you do things like Chopped, and you know, even Top Chef. And it honestly doesn't matter if you win or not. It's how you represent yourself when you're there matters more. And I saw that firsthand when I came back, because as soon as Top Chef came out, we had families from freaking Winnetka and Evanston and Wilmette coming to Wicker Park. You know, like they never come to Wicker Park, you know, and they came down to eat fried chicken, Indian fried chicken from a dude in Wicker Park.
Yeah.
And so that tells you what kind of exposure that these things bring. And that's a really beautiful thing. But I think each place has its, you know, the beauty of Lilac is that it's completely different than Mira, and Mira is completely different than Coach House. So what's happening now is that once people know that you do good by your people and you produce a really great product, they will go wherever you go. So anytime we now, thank God, when we say we're going to be opening another restaurant, I have no worries that people are not going to show up. You know, that's not even a thing I think about. And that's not just overnight. That is now, when did I start? 2013 till now. So that is building the confidence of someone that, you know, they know what you're going to produce.
That's a great feeling to have.
It's amazing. Yeah. Can't take it for granted.
In the startup world, one of the mottos is move fast and break things. The idea is like, don't wait till it's perfect. Just ship it. Get it out
100%.
there.
Yeah.
Now, when you're designing a recipe and putting food on someone's plate, I don't know if you have that same leniency of like, maybe it tastes okay, but try it. So like, how do you know when something is menu ready?
When I think it's good.
Okay.
Yeah. Honestly, it's like, I'm not cooking for other people. I'm cooking something that I want to cook, and I trust that people are going to like it. You know, so I'm a lunatic a little bit when it comes to that, because I've had chefs work for me that are come from very structured environments where structured environments are great, but they're kind of boring. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you know exactly what to do and do exactly this or else, then you're taking the love out of cooking, you're taking the fun out of cooking, you're taking cooking out of cooking, because cooking is ingenuity, right? Cooking is tasting, cooking is feel. I watched my grandmother smell spices before she ever tasted any garam masala. And because your brain computes with smell as well. So when I saw that as a kid, and I started doing that in my kitchens, people were just looking at me like, what are you fucking doing? I'm like, I'm smelling it, you know? And so it's like, everyone works different, but I guess my point is that, you know, what you put out is so important, but I will do menus in Coach House where I haven't tasted a composed dish out of the 7. But I've basically made and prepped all of the components of it, and I'll just sit there and watch people eat it. And it's worked so far. I wouldn't say go that extreme, but I don't know, I don't give a shit. I'm like, let's go for it. You know, so it is a lot of, like you just said, what did you say? Break things and keep going?
Move fast and break things.
Yeah, in a kitchen, if you're moving slow, you're not gonna survive, you know? And you have to move fast, you're tasting along the way. And I always tell people, man, our grandmothers, our moms, they are as stubborn, as creative, and as hardworking as any French chef you'll ever work for. You know? So you gotta trust that.
Give it up for the moms.
Yeah.
There's my mom in the house over there.
Shout
out. Give it up for my mom.
Woo!
I want to come back to the competition shows for a second. Sure. You know, you mentioned like it's not that hard compared to like the real life work and all that stuff.
Real life is a lot harder. Yeah.
The way it is at least staged or presented though is you get a challenge or a concept, you get a constraint. You then have to think of what you're going to cook. You got to prep it and you got to cook it all within a certain time frame. Yeah. And then present it and be judged on it and find out if you're advancing based on that or not. So, and you're being filmed in this process. So, are you starting like? You don't know the constraint until like you're walking in that day. But do you already have like a couple things in your bag that you're like, I'm gonna go off of this? It's fully like freestyle.
Yeah, you got to freestyle. I mean, like, you can see on TV when somebody comes in with a plan and their whole plan explodes. You know what I mean? And I've never cooked like that. I never will cook like that. I've never started a business like that. You know, like everyone told me not to do things, and I'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna go fucking do that. Because, and it's just like I don't know. It's just instinctively you can't give a shit about anyone else and their opinion. You know, it's like, yes, you can have mentors along the way, but there will be a day when you have to make a decision yourself. And you should look forward to that day, because that means that's the day you don't need anybody else to be successful, and you can ride on your shoulders, and that's what you want. Yeah. But going into the shows, no, like they told us you can bring a box of whatever you want, tools, all that shit. And I'm like, I don't have tools, you know. I have a knife. I took a knife and I took spices. That's it. Because I'm Indian, you know. So they're like, "That's all you showed up with?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's all I need, man. You guys have a whole kitchen. I don't need to bring I don't need to bring tools. You know what I mean? We're not making houses out of cilantro or some shit. Like, I don't know. Like, I just like to cook food from a flavor standpoint. It's cooking food first. I'm not a fine dining. I'm gonna make a tomato look like a tuna type shit. It's delicious, sure, but.
Through that experience, on either show, either Top Chef or Chopped, is there something that you learned that now you do differently or have a different approach as a result?
Man, I hate to break it to you, but like TV shows are just for marketing. You know, like they're for promotion. You're there to like take out as much promotion as you can. So my only goal going on these things was don't be an idiot and don't cook raw food. Don't present shit that doesn't represent you. Don't try to do some crazy things that's going to make you look bad. You know what I mean? It's like these shows are very amazing to push your business. You know, so if you're in the food business today and you get any opportunity to be on a baking show or anything like that, you need to do it, you got to do it. Even if you think you're not ready for it, yeah, you need to do it. You have to do it because those things is something that when are you going to get an opportunity where millions of people are going to see your name?
Right.
And we were already established, but we're still small, man. We live in a country of 300 million people. So it was, I had a business loan at Lilac Tiger the day after I had to refund $30,000, and something like that was on my head for so long. In the month I came back from Top Chef, that loan was erased. So that's how many new people came through.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So that's why you do these things. Yeah.
You have also developed a spice brand, Fire Lily Foods. Through doing restaurants, what made you say, well, now I'm going to get into CPG? And has it been the same? Has it been a totally different experience? What's that like?
I don't know, man. I just love food. I love working in this industry, and I'm Indian, so like our whole spices are in our blood. You know what I mean? And spice mixes are in our blood. And again, it's going back to the diversity of the food. The only thing we know here in America, and it's garam masala. It's garam masala and garam masala. You're not hearing anything else. There are millions probably of different dishes and depending on which city you're in India, there's a different type of garam masala, right? So for me, moving into that space is very interesting because I want to bring things that people have not seen before. And so on social media, I started doing Achar Academy. I love achars. Achars are basically India and South Asia's way of pickling and fermenting. And I always joke, we will achar anything. There's fish achars, there's ground beef achars, there's vegetables, there's fruit. Yeah. Mangoes everywhere, dog. You know what I mean? So it's like, who doesn't love a green mango achar? You know what I mean? So it's like, I do the social media Achar Academy from a perspective of somebody who grew up in Chicago. So I kind of use achar as you would use giardiniera, or you use, I'm trying to, like, during the summer, we'll grill halal Polish hot dogs and we'll put our garlic sonata achar on it. And I guarantee you, no offense to the Italian community, but it's better than giardiniera. You know what I mean? I love giardiniera, don't get me wrong, but like achar is pretty fucking awesome. So it's kind of telling people about this new condiment. It's like how you found out about chili crisp or any of these condiments. You can have a whole, cupboard full of them that represents, kind of the whole world. Every single nation has that kind of spice mix or condiment, and I love exploring that.
So I think you might have a good take on this, because so much of what you talked about and what I'm just gathering from your identity is like standing for India and the flavors of India. I think my wife and I talk about this a lot. Like historically, I think Indian cuisine has done a bad job of marketing itself. Whereas like it didn't take that long for like chili crisp to come like into like everyone's pantry, right? And be in every, and like now there's like the 20 ounce at Costco and things like that.
Yeah, David Chang tried to freaking.
And he tried to monopolize the market
why
too.
Are you doing that? Yeah.
I think he lost that lawsuit, right?
He definitely lost. You can't. That's like saying you own cardamom. Like that's not. You can't do that.
What do you think? Like the Indian cuisine needs to do to have that better branding or recognition?
I mean, I don't know if you guys see this from a civilian standpoint, from like a chef's perspective though. Like India's been popping off for the past like 5 years, I would say, from a fine dining and being recognized in World 50 Best, in James Beard's. Like you've never seen more South Asian restaurants, especially in Dubai and Qatar and Doha and now Bombay. And you're seeing 3 Michelin star food, La Liste and World's 50 Best in Bombay, in Chennai, in South India where we're from. So it's definitely come a lot further. I think what makes more, I think your question would be more to the general population, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people who are traveling around and they can afford these places, yes, they're going there. But I think that more people are trying to definitely eat Indian food in America, but more people are also cooking Indian food at home. So you see a lot of that happening. I just, I'm not the only I'm not the only person saying there's more than butter chicken. I think you see a lot of really great restaurants now that are super regional. Tartu up north in, what is that, Ravenswood? No, Avondale.
Yeah.
Avondale.
Oh, Avondale, okay.
She is a good friend of, we were both pop-ups at one point in 2017 in the same food hall, and Margaret does a great job because her husband, she's Korean, her husband's from Kerala, and she learned how to make Kerala food from his mom. Like, that's dedication, you know, and she does an amazing job at it. And so you see a lot of regionality now. I think that it is already, I would argue it's already way better than it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But we got a lot more to do. It's, people need to eat more than butter chicken.
Yeah. You had a chance to walk around the floor earlier and try some of our all food and beverage teams, tasting stations. If there's anything that stood out to you, please say. But generally, what advice do you have for all of them who are building their businesses?
Man, everything was really, really delicious. Your cake's awesome. The Noom salt was amazing. But in general, I mean, everyone, what I actually noticed today was everyone's hitting packaging and like your branding is really, really great. That's really amazing to see. Because when I started, we didn't have anything like that. Like Canva was just coming out. So I was like, holy shit, Canva's so cool. I don't have to pay my cousins the money to do like, you know, design work and things like that. Because that's just not my forte. But yeah. Everyone's branding was really, really great today. And I mean, it seems like, especially a lot of you are already on your way. I guess advice would be, don't listen to other people. Listen to yourself. Trust yourself. And days will be hard, sure, but if it wasn't hard, then everybody would fucking start a business, and you don't want that, you know? So, yeah.
Last week, you announced you'd be leaving Coach House, and you'd be starting a new venture in Lincoln Park, I believe. What can you tell us about this?
So Coach House was, it's a 142-year-old, literally a coach house where they used to park horses and the carriages back in the day. And it's behind our bar, Lilac Tiger. When I first moved into Lilac Tiger, the guy was trying to sell me this space in the back as storage. But I walked in and had this really old grand door, and I was like, what fucking storage has an old grand door? You know, and the floor was kind of tiled, so I knew that it was something. And as we cleaned, we uncovered a bar that was in it. We uncovered seating that was in it. So the Coach House became the first Indian tasting menu in Chicago in 2021. We got a Michelin recognition, not a star yet, but thank you. We've had that since the first 6 months we opened, where it looked like crap. You know, like there's no design. If you saw it today, it looks way better. But it really it became the first permanent address for me as a chef after, you know, 3-4 years of being a pop-up, where people could come see me consistently 5 days a week, 6 days a week. And that changed my whole business, right? So I'm sure a lot of you are looking for permanent spots or looking for homes. Don't stop looking for those homes. People will say, oh man, life is so good. You know, you're a pop-up, you can build your own schedule, sure. But do you want to have sustained success? And to have sustained success, you need to have consistent location, right? So that was the Coach House for me, and it's changed my whole life. Mira came out of the Coach House. Sarima came out of the Coach House. So this year or this spring, so the Coach House doesn't have a kitchen, by the way. So we've been cooking 7-course meals. So that's 300 plates a night for 2 seatings, 22 per seating, for the past 5 years on 2 induction burners and like an oven that looks like it should be Hulk's toaster oven. You know? And we did it because we didn't want to, the alternative was you don't maximize anything in this room. And the Coach House did close to $1 million in revenue last year by itself, right? Thank you. And that's in addition to what the bar does up front. So without the Coach House, we wouldn't even be able to afford rent, right? So when the guy came back, he's like, what the fuck are you doing here? And I'm like, this is called a dinner, dog. You know, like this is not storage room. This can be an intimate dining experience. So we want that for other entrepreneurs coming up here in the spring. So I decided in Lincoln Park, we found another space that I'm going to build for the first time from scratch, my own kitchen, which I've never had the opportunity to do. Thank you. It's wild. But we didn't want the Coach House to stop. So the Coach House now will evolve into Chicago's first incubator residency program for up-and-coming chefs.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So if you are a chef right now, you can apply to become a residency, and you have 4 to 6 months of a permanent location in order to attract people, serve them your food. So our first chef is going to be Haru Haru, who's the best pop-up in the city right now. If you haven't heard of him, you should definitely check him out. Haru Haru. and he does Korean food, and he does amazing, amazing food. And same dining experiences, rooted in history, super intimate. So he's going to be our first.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Awesome. Love it. I want to turn to the audience for maybe like 2 questions for Chef. Anyone have a question they would like to ask? Yeah, Jory?
Yeah, sure.
I'll repeat the question out loud.
Oh, okay.
Well, chefs, you have to be a great artist. You have to be a great business person, and you have to be a great manager. And it's one of the things that I admire most about chefs is when you can do all these different things well. It's really hard. For you, where did you find maybe that it wasn't as easy, and what did you do? Like who did you turn to? And
You
how did you
find
do
good
that?
people, for sure. I mean, like, and the root of everything you just described. Did you want to repeat your question?
Yeah, so the question was essentially being a chef requires being a business manager, an artist, an operator, all these things. It's a lot of different talents. So, the specific question within that was,
And then how do you manage that?
yeah, how do you manage and
When you feel that you have a gap or a weakness in your
Totally.
skills.
Yeah, I mean,
so how do you like understand like where your strengths lie and identify the gaps?
You
Did I-
find-
did I characterize that? Okay.
yeah, I mean, basically, how do you bridge the gap? And I would say that you have to find people that see what you are going through sometimes, and sometimes the universe will bring you people. You know, I was basically buried in 2021 because I was doing everything. And the things that I hate the most are administrative shit. Cause like, I don't want to sit behind a computer and process payroll and pay taxes and all that. And so one of my friends now, who's my partner in everything that I do, David, he's a big beverage director in the city, and he hit me up because he had left the place. He was like, hey, do you need anything right now? And I'm like, yeah, come in, I need help. And it literally was is admitting that you need help. Sometimes people are just too headstrong, and it's your business and you built it, and you don't want somebody else telling you that you've been doing something really wrong or probably could have more organization, because you just think, you kind of get defensive, right? You're like, well, you don't know what I've been building. But I think the biggest thing is we always tell all the chefs and everybody that works in our team is you leave your ego at the door. When you leave your ego at the door, you can do a lot of collaborative work with people that are going to make your life so easy. I'm able to sit here right now because I have 2 cooks who are doing just fine because we trained them in Lilac. We have 12 people on the floor right now at Mira in a 150 cover night. And, Coach House doesn't have service today, but we're doing prep for this whole week because we're sold out the next 3 weeks. But I'm here with you guys because I have people that support me, that I'm able to, bring around and able to work with. And now what we do is, it's not just a thank you so much, here's your paycheck. The cook that started with me 4 years ago is now my CDC, and he's my business partner in Sarima. He's my business partner in one of the restaurants we're opening. So not only do we receive the people that help us, but it's been and maybe that goes back to the question with our parents. My parents always said, don't do things for people because you want to take a fucking photo op or you want to put it on Instagram because you want to feed people. Just go feed people if you want to feed people. And if you want to grow people, just grow people. Don't do it with don't expect something in return. If somebody does something for you, then you should do something from them. That's natural. So for me, anybody that has helped me and has sustained me and has helped me, improve my businesses, my goal is to make them my business partner in anything next that we do.
Love that. One more from the audience. Anyone have? Yeah. What is your favorite home-cooked meal?
Very easy answer. Dosa, poriyal, prawn ghee roast with malga puri and coconut chutney.
All right,
All made by
now that you
mom.
live in Lyle, you're invited to my mom's house in Wheaton.
Done.
She'll
I
make
got you.
dosa.
Mom lives with me,
Best
so that's
in
every
the
Sunday,
area.
you know what I mean? Yeah.
That was an easy one.
Last
Anyone
one.
have one more? Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, well, you get favoritism because I'm married to you. We'll do Mabel first.
Okay, so when you first opened your doors, when was that moment when you felt like, oh, this business is a success? Like, what was that moment you felt?
Oh,
What was
man.
the
It
moment
was
when
awesome.
you felt like the business was a success?
Ashok Selvam we used to be the editor of Eater in Chicago, and I was like a pop-up, and he knew that I was a pop-up, and I just walked into this art gallery one day on Damon, and it was an art gallery, but if you went to the end of the art gallery and took a left, there was a hole in the wall, right? Like a literal hole in the wall, and if you walked through that hole, there was a kitchen back there, and it was behind the Thai restaurant next door. So for some reason, I thought this was a perfect pop-up place, mainly because there was an abandoned smoker in this kitchen. So I decided to basically smoke brisket, but spiced it with Bihari kebab spices, which is a kebab from North India. And then I did tandoori fried chicken. And I very innocently just put it on my social media, hey, we're gonna do a 2-week pop-up in this space. Nobody really knew who we were. Like, people kind of knew who we were, but it was our first casual thing. And a show called me. I didn't know he was the editor of Eater. He's just like, hey, chef. I'm like, hi. I was like, what are you doing this weekend? I'm like, oh, I have this pop-up going on. They're like, oh, do you mind if I write about it? I'm like, sure, go ahead, fucking write about it. I don't care. And because we don't like to pay people to write stuff. If you want to write stuff, come eat the food, and then you can write about it if you like it. But he ends up being the freaking head editor of Eater. And when we opened on Monday, and I was like, it's gonna be slow, guys. Everything's gonna be fine. It's Monday and nobody does anything. There's 500 people in line. And so that was the moment I realized that I think we have something, you know?
Nice.
And then it was 2 weeks of 500 people in line every single day. So it was awesome. Yeah. Wifey.
I can project my
How dare you? Yeah.
I can scream.
Yeah.
It's not very deep. This whole thing has been very deep.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I
Your
hope.
authenticity.
Oh, thank you.
It's very basic. What's your favorite achar?
Oof.
A question and a comment.
Okay.
Question, what's your favorite achar?
Favorite achar is the
Uh-huh.
question.
Uh-huh.
Comment is, thank you for writing this love letter about Indian cuisine. Being a desi myself,
Oh, thank you.
this is of course close to my heart. So
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Favorite achar is my aunt makes a fish achar with basically it's sole fillets, right? But it's garlic, a lot of garlic, ginger, basically mundu chilies, which are these cherry bomb chilies from South India. But essentially, the raw fish goes in, but literally within a week, it looks like it's been cooked. You know, so it's completely opaque. Same concept as ceviche and aguachile and all that. That the lime juice and the citric, the acid really cooks through the fish, and it lasts for like a year. So that's the best thing about achars is that a lot of them last forever as long as you keep them super submerged. So it is a nightmare when the health department comes around because they don't fucking know what achar is. So anytime the health inspector comes in, I'm just like running. I'll be like, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be right back, and I'm just changing dates on every single achar. Because if I try to explain achar to them, then they're just gonna throw it out, and I'm not gonna do that. So.
Have you seen that Hulu show, Deli Boys? Where they're
good friends
they're
now.
storing the drugs inside
Absolutely.
the achar.
Man, Deli Boys, we were closing the coach house last year at the end of the night, and like they walked into the Lilac Tiger
Nice.
at the end of their set. And I was like, holy shit. I'm like, yeah, let's feed them. So we actually fed them for their end of the show kind of wrap up in the coach house. And then it was really cool. We established a bond, and now they're filming right now, second season in Chicago. So I can't tell you much, but they've been coming to Lilac Tiger. I walked in the room the other day, and Tan France was sitting on my fucking chair. And I hear somebody say Chef Zubair, and I look over, and it's Tan France, and all I could think in my head was like, I need to tell my wife that Tan France is here. But I was like, why does Tan France know my name? But I guess Sagar Sheikh told him, go look for me. And so Deli Boys, man, watch the show. It's amazing, super authentic, and they're really good people, and they're representing our community really, really well. So
Yeah.
yeah.
To close out, I have some rapid fire questions for you.
Okay,
I hate
let's
answering
do it.
rapid fire questions, but I like
love
answering them.
Yeah.
All right. So, one spice you cannot live without.
Chilies.
All right.
Oh, chilies count as a spice? Yeah? Okay.
All right.
Huh? That's true. Coriander. Let's do
Okay.
that.
All right. A kitchen or dining trend you're hoping goes away.
Butter chicken. I'm kidding. I would say it's gonna get me in trouble. No, I'll stick with butter chicken. This is rapid fire. Sorry, go ahead.
A mistake you have made on your journey that you hope or you don't want someone else to repeat.
Ooh. Man, not starting sooner. Follow your dreams faster. I threw away the applications and all that in the garbage for 2 years before I actually trusted myself to just go cook. So just do what the fuck you want to do.
A Chicago restaurant that's not yours that you think everyone should try.
I'm gonna go small because I love small places. There's a grandma and a son, and they're part of the Chengdu Impression family, but they have their own restaurant called Dongbo Impression in Chinatown. And they make fire Sichuan food, and their customer service on the next level. Because the best Asian restaurants are if you go in and you don't get service, right? So like the best Asian restaurants is like, hey, what do you want? Sit down, eat. Let's go. We gotta go. Like Sansugap-san and Sunwa Barbecue, you love them because they're like telling you what to do, which they absolutely should tell you what to do because they're gonna serve you really delicious food. So for me, it's Dongpo because their thank you is I have ordered from them for years. I've never met them, never spoke to them once, but they know my name. So anytime I order one thing, and it's the meal that I order. Sorry, this is rapid fire. I'm totally fair.
It's all right.
It's the meal that I order when I land on the tarmac before I call my wife. You know what I mean? I ordered that before I tell my wife I've arrived. You know? And if I order that, I've arrived to my doorstep with a fucking cardboard box full of food because it'll have extra sides with smiley faces on it. That's customer service, man.
Love that.
And I don't order Chinese food anywhere else because of that.
Yeah. Now you're going to be the reason there's a 500-person line outside Dongbo Impression tomorrow.
Yeah, I hope so. They deserve it.
Best city in the world to eat in besides Chicago?
Shit. I would say Chennai. Chennai is amazing. It's super diverse. There's a lot of fine dining happening. There's a lot of family style happening. It's just really, really great.
Next year, the Chicago Bears will be, finish the sentence.
I'm going to say NFC champions.
All right.
'Cause you got to grow.
Yeah, baby steps.
Patrick Mahomes lost to Tom Brady before he won 4 Super Bowls.
Sure.
So you got to, those losses are important.
Next season, the Chicago Bulls will be.
Reinsdorf needs to move on from this world. They won't do shit. They won't be anything.
I think the safe answer is still not on TV.
Yes, there you go. Sorry, my bad. I have a bad mouth. Yeah.
Okay, so my final question, which is how I end every interview, is fill in the blank. Entrepreneurship is blank.
Is the only way. It's the best way. It's like Mandalorian, you know? Honestly, it's the most authentic thing. Is this supposed to be a one-word answer?
You can elaborate.
My ADHD is so bad. No, man, entrepreneurship is the most fulfilling thing you'll ever do, the most fulfilling thing I've ever done, because every day doesn't feel like work. You're doing what you love, and when it's right, it should never feel like work. The second it feels like you're like, I'm going to a job, you need to get the fuck out or do something else, because you don't love it enough. And you should love it to just breathe it, and that's what I do.
Love that answer. We brought him on like Beyonce. We will send him off like he's Beyonce.
Where am I supposed to go, though?